Good evening. I'm Deacon Taflin Fisher from Christ Lutheran Church in Pacific Beach in San Diego. About a year ago, I saw a devotional that featured little homemade kits for spirituality on the go. In our fast-paced world, we were doing a lot of travel, going to conferences, working out of town, and visiting friends and family. It seemed logical that we might want to take our spiritual practices on the road with us, and I'm sure we will again. But I'm calling this evening Spirituality on the Go Goes Home. Our ancestors had home altars as a rule of thumb, and this time, when many of us are still quarantined, seems like a perfect time to set aside some holy ground for yourself. Think about what it might be that will help you settle into a routine of devotion. Can you claim a quiet corner, a space where you enjoy being? What would you want to have with you? It might be an empty table, a place where you feel free of clutter, where there is open space for you to let your thoughts and prayers freely move as you sit there. Or you might want some items to help you focus your meditation if you're like me. You could leave them set up or put them in a little basket or a box that you can open when you want to, or even use it in the garden. You might add a candle, your Bible, some music, a prayer journal, a cross, a pretty cloth, a basin of water to make the sign of the cross on your forehead to remind you that you are a child of God. Once you've found your place and settled in, I would encourage you to start your devotions with a type of sound meditation, a time of listening intently to the everyday sounds around you, without judgment or inquiry. I'd like to enlarge a little bit on that. There's a fascinating podcast that I found in Emergence magazine, in which acoustic ecologist Gordon Hampton says that a sound transformed his life. He was 27, on a road trip between his old life and his new life, as he puts it. He camped out on the ground and was suddenly surrounded by the sounds of cracking thunder and rain. He says that this was the first time he experienced true listening. He feels like it was a baptism of sorts. Right now, with so many commuters working from home, many businesses shuttered and flights canceled, there's much less noise pollution, and you have the best chance ever to really hear the place in which you live, to be in the place in which you live. Think about the sounds that have impacted you for a minute. Have you ever heard the sound of a loon? Or an elk? Just last night, the coyotes were singing outside my window. And I've tent camped in bear country many times and heard the clanging of pots and pans as people in other parts of the camp chased away a bear. And then I would lay awake, straining my ears for sounds of crackling branches and lumbering footsteps. And on the other hand, one of the best things about tent camping was the early morning. When daylight first cracks open the sky, I would lay snug in my sleeping bag, eyes shut, listening for the first bird song, the tap-tap-tapping of the woodpecker, the wind rustling the tent flaps. I first discovered how comforting and meditative listening to the sounds around me could be when I used to have many migraines. Sometimes they were so bad that I would have to go to bed with heat packs, ice packs, wet washcloth over my eyes. But my ears would be wide awake, so to speak, and so I took advantage of that and focused all my attention there, disassociating from the pain. Just meditating on the sounds around me. Neighbors, birds, someone's music, cars, cooking sounds, all of it. Again, not listening for anything specific, not judging, just taking it in, focusing. So much of our lives is visual these days and virtual. In some ways, we've become estranged from the natural world. But to listen, we have to quiet ourselves and our devices. We become peaceful. Let's meditate for just a minute on this sound stream from my walk yesterday. I encourage you to make some sacred space for yourself and then spend time just listening, reconnecting with your world. This will put you in a receptive attitude for Bible study, prayer, or singing hymns. It will give you a sense of peace to carry with you throughout the day. Peace to you this evening. As I leave you, here are some sounds from nature.